I'd like to welcome to the show Sparta Wyoming 6 athlete, competitor, kickboxer at 165 pounds, Kate K2 Rindlisbaker. How are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm excited to have you on the show. I got some cool questions that I've got lined up because I did a little bit of Instagram stalking on you before the interview, and you had a lot of stuff on your social media that I definitely want to touch on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, first things first, we got to talk about this fight, right? Because this is coming up on March 27th, so we're super close to the fight. Again, 165-pound kickboxing bout. Cool that Sparta is mixing things up with all these different types of martial arts. I really dig the way they set up these cards, and they're giving you guys, a pretty cool platform to perform on.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I was really hoping to get some fight time in last year. Unfortunately, COVID hit. So I'm just grateful that I'm on one of Sparta's cards and you know, ready to rock and roll.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's March 27th. I'll put something in there so people can know where to purchase. And we're still not doing live audience, or do you guys have limited there?
They are doing live audience, yep. So they can buy tickets to come up to the show in Cheyenne in person, or if you don't feel comfortable with that or the drive's too far for you, you can definitely hit up the pay-per-view as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see fans get back into attendance because I commentate and I just did one last weekend. I'll tell you what, it was a little strange. It was a little strange. Did you get to compete at all with this COVID thing?
No, unfortunately, I moved out here in Colorado in end of 2019. Found this gym beginning of 2020 and just started in with them right as COVID hit. And so, I mean, just as I was getting ready, everything got shut down. So this is going to be my first fight since all of this crazy COVID stuff.
Well, then you kind of missed an experience. I'll just put it to you that way. Having fighters compete with no live audience, especially when you're in the arena, it's definitely weird. You can hear everybody's corner. You can hear the announcers from inside the cage. It's definitely interesting. So you get fans, so that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited that people can be there. I mean, I would take it either way, but I am glad that it's opening back up enough that people can come out and support whoever their fighters are.
Exactly, exactly. And let's talk about the opponent, Smith. What does Smith do well that we got to keep an eye on?
You know what? I actually don't know that much about her. From what I hear, she's coming out of a great gym, I believe, up in Fort Collins. And so I'm just ready for whatever she has to throw my way. I'm sure she's training just as hard as I am and stoked to be getting in there. Uh, I don't want to underestimate her, but I know I'm ready for whatever she throws my way.
Okay, and in my stocking, we'll call it, I saw that you compete in multiple sports. It's not just kickboxing. So go ahead and give my audience and your audience your accolades.
Yeah, so my original goal when I started doing all of this stuff was to become an MMA fighter. Um, when we talked to Sparta, they had an opening for a kickboxing bout, and I was like, hey, I'm down, I'll take it. Haven't really been able to get that ground game in quite as much with all of the COVID closures. And so my coaches and I figured that it would be good to go ahead and go the kickboxing direction since that's been what I've been able to train the most right now. Um, but yeah, I love doing jujitsu. I love MMA. I've really grown to become very passionate about kickboxing since I've joined the Pound for Pound team. Originally, I was training out of Utah, and kickboxing was not my jam. So, I'm really glad I've gotten out here and been able to grow in that direction as well.
Okay, so the goal is still to compete in MMA eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I still want to do MMA, but I'm happy to get in the ring and whatever I can. And honestly, I'm really excited for this kickboxing bout. I think it's going to be a great experience and just really hope make me a more well-rounded fighter.
For sure, for sure. And I also saw that you've been doing quite a bit of traveling as of late. I saw you went up to, I think, New York, maybe Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Yeah. So I graduated college out in Utah in 2019, and then I actually moved out to DC for about 7 months. Moved around a ton out there, and then I loved it, but just couldn't train and do what I wanted. So I said, hey, you know what? Denver was where I was eyeing originally. I'm going to put my career aside for a few years and go see what I can do as a fighter out there.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I've never actually been to DC. So, what are some cool spots out there?
Oh my gosh, there's so many great places. I don't even know where to start. I got to work right on the mall, um, in the USDA building, and it was so cool just seeing all of the monuments every day. I think one of the craziest things about living out there is you'll just be like walking down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden police cars just come like streaming by you, blocking off traffic, and the next thing you know there's just like a caravan, and that's when you know it's either like the president or the vice president or one of those top ranking officials, and they just stop traffic and take them right past you. And it's not something crazy to see out there. Like, it happens more often than you'd expect. So I think that's just one of the coolest things is you're just walking down the street and this crazy thing the first time you see it and you're like, what's going on? And then, you know, after a few weeks, you're just like, whatever, it's probably the president.
No big deal. No
Yeah.
big deal. Okay. And then I also saw you had like a co-host in some of these pictures, a little furry friend. Talk about that guy because I'm a
Oh,
dog guy.
yeah. So I have an Australian Shepherd. Let's see here. She just turned 8 last month. She is currently living out on the farm with my parents. She's not a huge city dog. She doesn't love all of the craziness of city life. So she's rocking it out there on the farm, just living her best life, being a cattle dog. My parents spoil her. She's not supposed to be a house dog, but she's become one since I left. So
Right on, right on. Yeah, I've got 4. So, but they're
yeah,
little dogs. They're like this big.
yeah. We used to always have a Jack Russell, so we had one little one and then a few of the bigger ones.
Right on. So talk to me about this farm. Is it something you grew up on?
Yeah. I just grew up on a small farm in southern Idaho. You know, horses, cows, some hound dogs, usually a goat, some rabbits, had those chickens, you know, just a little bit of everything, just enough to keep us busy.
Okay, maybe you can help me out here with chickens, right? Because my wife has been hassling me for a very long time about getting chickens so she wouldn't have to buy eggs. I think she just really wants chickens, but she's trying to convince me that financially they're not that expensive to take care of and we get free eggs. So help me out here.
I mean, honestly, they're probably some of the easier farm animals to take care of, and fresh eggs are so much better than store-bought eggs. However, I hate chickens with a passion. They are evil. I think they can tell I'm afraid of them. So, like, my chickens would always attack me. So I got to the point I was just like, nope, someone else can feed them. I will do all of the other chores. So personally, I would say stay away from the chickens. But end of the day, like, if you want fresh eggs, it would be worth it. Just get nice chickens if you can find those.
Okay, I wouldn't know where to even begin to look for nice chickens. I would wonder how that would look in Google and what would pop up. So,
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there. They have no problem with my mom. She can go in there and they're just like whatever, and I swear as soon as I get close to them, they're all like flying at me and pecking at me, and I'm just like, yo, I'm backing out. Like, that's not a fight I want to get into.
it's actually kind of funny because you'll get into a cage fight with another human being, but getting into a cage with a chicken does not happen.
Exactly. Yeah. At least with that person, like hey, we've got someone monitoring, like the ref can call a stop to things, but when it's just you and an animal, it's you and the animal. And yeah, I'll get in a pen with like a big old bull, get in with a horse that you're trying to break, whatever. But chickens are my no-go.
Okay. Okay. Um, so you also have a show, a type of show that you do. Explain that to me because I seen a couple posts about that as well, and I was very interested. What is it?
Yeah, so I actually majored in agricultural communications and broadcast journalism in school. And so part of that broadcast journalism program, we produced a news station on campus our last year of school. And so once a week, we'd put on a broadcast and we'd take different roles each week. So sometimes I would anchor, sometimes I was behind the camera. Each week, we went out and acted as reporters and had to put our own packages together. So we'd choose a topic, interview people, do what's called a stand-up, which is where you see us in the package. And then we'd do all of the editing for the video and audio. And that would run on our show. And so, yeah, I did that for a year and really enjoyed it. And that's what actually led me to DC was I was doing, I was a videographer for an agriculture news network covering politics on the Hill for agriculture.
Okay, and then I understand that you're actually going back to school, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was March 1st. I got accepted to DU. I'll be studying international human rights to get my master's.
That's crazy. That's a lot of school. That's a lot of school.
It is a lot of school. I think all in all, I'll have 3 degrees and 7 years under my belt by the time I'm done. So,
That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I dropped out of high school 3 times just to make sure I did it right the first couple times, you know.
hey, you know what? We all find our paths differently, right? And
Yeah.
seems like you're doing great for yourself. So,
Well, I have a boss everywhere I go because I'm no longer the head honcho at work. And here at the house, I have a boss. And since we got together, life has been pretty tame. She's got a plan. She's got everything figured out, and she seems to have how do you say it, corralled me into a safe, comfortable life for her. So she's actually going to school right now to be a teacher. She's going to be teaching. Well, she's got a dual degree going on. She's going for regular education and also special education.
that's amazing. That's a lot of work, but we need more teachers who can, I don't know, teach well. I'm not trying to say we don't have them, just like it's right, it's a hard field and very underappreciated, so that's amazing that people are still willing to go out there and put that hard work in.
Yeah, but she's like crazy intelligent. Like she gets 100% on everything. I don't even know. I think the last time I got 100% on something was it's been that long. I can't remember.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I am not a straight A student. I go in and I do my best, but I've always got plenty of room to improve.
Well, at the end of the day, that's all you can do. And it seems like whenever you put your mind to something, like you give it your all 100%, and the results show for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I, like you said, that's all we can do. And I think if that's the mentality we go into anything, whether it's education or fighting, we're going to come out on top. And maybe you're never always going to be number one, but you know, you're still going to learn from everything you do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about your team. I think you're wearing their shirt, right?
Yeah, yeah. Pound for pound.
All right, and you said that's where you ended up. So talk to me about the team, about the journey to the gym. Talk to me about all of that. I want to know all of it.
Yeah, so I started training about 6 years ago. Little gym in my hometown. One of my friends got me into it, and I absolutely loved it. But at that time, I was in college, so I was like driving about 35, 40 minutes 5 days a week to train. And then I got in with some people who had a gym where I was going to school. And so I ended up switching down to them after about a month. And, we had a lot of turnover because MMA gyms were kind of newer to the valley that I lived in. But yeah, so I trained out there for four years, I think, while I was going to school in college. And then, like I said, I got my job out in DC and I moved out there, and I just couldn't train the amount I wanted to. It was 12 to 16-hour days often. But my boss was amazing, and she tried to work it out with me that I got off earlier on Wednesdays, and I found a boxing gym out there where I could go get some rounds in on their sparring night. And, that coach started pushing me more for kickboxing because my background was definitely a lot more boxing. And that's when I was just like, I love this too much to put it on the back burner. So that's when I was just like, I love DC. I could see myself out here in the future, but it's time to set that aside and, chase this dream that I had. And so I had some friends living out here in Denver. I'd been eyeing it before because I knew it had so many great gyms out here. So I moved out here and started doing some research. I found Pound for Pound, and I was like, well, it's a good place to start. They've got some great fighters fighting out of there. Went to my first class, and they were amazing. It's a great team, just great people, and the coaching is phenomenal. And so I kind of got really lucky. The first one I tried just ended up being a perfect match, and I've stuck with them ever since. And so I've been with them just over a year. I think I started like the first week of 2020. So yeah, they've been so great. And I can't even describe how amazing they've been through this fight camp, just trying to make sure that I am ready in every area and pushing me to be my best.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Having a support system, especially when you're competing, that's like one of the most important things. Not just showing up, but having that that backbone to support you when maybe you're getting inside your own head a little bit. They're the people that are supposed to bring you back to reality and make sure that mentally you're 100%. So that's awesome.
Yeah, they've been so great, and I have a few different coaches for different things, and they all communicate and make sure that we're on the same page, and it's been a great journey for sure.
Well, that's cool. And I'm glad you found a spot because it seems like, you know, finding the right one is always difficult. And for you to land it on that first time, like that's legit.
Yeah, I gotta say I believe it was meant to be, like, for it to just work out so well and for me to love being at this gym and for them to have pushed me in the direction that they have, like, I couldn't have asked for anything better.
That's cool shit. That's cool shit. Now we got to talk about food, okay? Because I'm a big old fat kid at heart, right?
I'm right there
And
with you.
you had some pretty dope pictures on your Instagram with some donuts. Those things looked amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll say my cousin. It's like my dad's cousin's kid. But my cousin, he lives out in DC, and he
Mhm.
actually was an owner with some of his friends of a donut company out there. And he also got me a job working on the weekends in one of the shops. And oh my gosh, I'm surprised I did not put on 50 pounds while I lived out there because I was not working out like I should have. And those donuts were some of the best donuts I've ever had in my life. They were so good. Um, and they had some crazy flavors too. Like, I don't even know, man. It was so good. We had a creme brulee one. So we'd literally take and put it on a little platter and do the whole torching it right there after someone bought one. I don't know. Where I come from, donuts are pretty simple. You just buy them at the grocery store, nothing crazy special. And then you go out there, and I think their most expensive donut was like $5 or $5.50 for one donut. And at first, I was like, "Holy cow! Are people pay this?" It was worth it. It was worth it. Let me tell you, more money than I should have got spent on donuts.
I don't have a problem with spending money on donuts at all. Like not even a little bit. We got this shop out here called Amy's. They got some pretty interesting flavors. Though my favorite is their coffee mocha one because I'm a coffee guy. I love coffee, and if I can get coffee and donuts all in one pastry, like that's good. I mean, that's good.
Oh, I mochas are my go-to. So like a coffee mocha donut, that sounds like heaven right there.
It is. It is. It's very much heaven, and I get one every time I go in there, which I haven't been there in a while. So I think I know what I'm doing later. Okay, so after your fight at Sparta Wyoming 6, which is on the 27th, while we're talking about food, why don't you go ahead and lay the victory meal?
Oh, I have actually been thinking about this. This has been the hardest part of training is just not getting to eat my sweets. Um, I don't even know. I'm still like trying to decide, but one of my friends is probably gonna drive up with me, and I'm just like, man, if you drive up with me, I'm making you drive home, and I'm just gonna be eating food with both hands. I can guarantee you that. So, yeah, I've still got to decide, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of sweets, maybe a little bit of soda. I'll break that. Once I get off, I try to stay off, but man, Mountain Dew is my go-to, man. So Mountain Dew, some donuts, maybe a greasy hamburger, just all of the bad foods.
Okay, can I come? I mean, shit, that sounds dope.
Definitely, definitely. Come watch the fights and then we'll like pig out, eat some great food, enjoy watching the rest of the fights afterwards.
Yeah, if I wasn't all the way out here in Arizona, I would be right there with you guys.
I mean, it's not that far. Grab a plane ticket, rent a car. It's only like an hour and 45 minutes from Denver. It'd be worth it.
Right? Well, I'm sure eventually I'll get out to one of the cards. So before I let you go, okay, I like to give my fighters the chance to thank their sponsors, their team, training partners, coaches, all that stuff. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Honestly, there's a list of people I could go through, but I gotta thank um, Justin, who owns the gym, Ashley, and of course, Clem, my other coach. They have been amazing. They've pushed me so hard to just be the best that I can be, and they've believed that I could, reach the level that I am and still keep progressing from here. And all of my training partners, I mean, there's so many people at the gym, a ton of the pro fighters. They, even though I'm just getting ready for an amateur fight, they don't treat me any different. They've been giving me so much of their time to try and push me to be the best that I can be. And so, really, just everyone over at the gym, I owe them so much because they've been a great team and have just, really wanted to see me succeed and have done everything they can to help me reach where I need to be.
Awesome. And any sponsors you want to plug?
Actually, right now I don't got no sponsors, but if anyone sees this and you're feeling generous, hit me up. I'd always love to rep.
Okay. And for those potential sponsors, go ahead and drop your social media tags.
Yeah, I actually just changed mine, so let me let me see what that even is. That's what happens when you make your social media when you're in high school. You hit your mid-20s and you're like, I'm going to switch this up. So yeah, you guys can find me at K2 Rindlisbaker on Instagram or Facebook, Kate Rindlisbaker. And yeah, if anybody wants to collab on anything, let me know. And I'd love to work something out.
Awesome. Well, hopefully your inbox gets hit up because that would be dope. I'd like to
Yes.
see, a fellow fighter get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. But again, thank you for your time. Kate, K2, Rindlisbaker, thank you so much. She competes at Sparta Wyoming 6 that's March 27th at I forgot the venue.
The Outlaw Saloon in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
There we go. See, perfect team right there. Perfect team.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. You are welcome anytime. Have fun with the donuts on the way home. Okay. Remember me when you're eating. When you're
I
eating them. Okay?
I will eat one specifically for you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And if you win via head kick, I get a shout out.
You got it. You got it. Promise.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll be seeing you in, let's see, a week, 2 weeks. What
Week
is
and
it?
a half.
Week and a half. There we go. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest with you. I really don't.
You're good. It's St. Patty's Day, 17th. 10 days out from the fight.
There's green somewhere. I promise. Don't pinch me. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Have fun.
Sounds good. Thanks.